government doesn't seem to care to send police officers there so that we can instill some level of order. And I think these are some of the things that are causing a lot of public rage. These are some of the things that are making Kenyans extremely angry because they feel like the president is becoming insensitive of their feelings, insensitive of the fact that they need to be listened to. So it is quite ironic that at a time when we need these officers here in the country, they are sent miles away to try and restore order in a country that perhaps they will not even understand that language. They don't understand the terrain. So it's quite ironic.
Finally, Duncan, the Catholic bishops are urging the president not to sign the finance bill. I think the deadline, the time to sign it will be tomorrow. Do you think he will sign the bill?
Wow. That's a very interesting question. I'm not so sure, but I think given the incidences that, or rather the events that happened yesterday,
oh, let's see. I just wanted to hear him respond. Yes, go ahead, Duncan.
Amendments.
Yes.
That at least would show the fact that he's trying to find some common ground, with the citizens. Because what is happening is we still have plans, or rather there are plans for protesters to show up on Thursday, that is tomorrow, and try and just continue to put pressure on the government not to pass this entire bill. So he has a decision not to sign, or rather not to assent to this bill and send it back to Parliament so that it can deliberate it further. So as to whether he's going to sign or not, I'm not too sure. I can't give you a definitive response on that, but I hope he has a clear conscience, and given the events that happened yesterday, I think he needs to be considerate of Kenyans and how they feel right now.
Asante Sana, thank you very much. Duncan Lukoye is independent journalist, correspondent with VOA, giving us the rundown on what's happening in Kenya. You're watching GTV Breakfast, and the WhatsApp number is 055-556-1034. Your comments are most welcome. Eric Ochebafo is a member of the National Communications Team of the NPP. What do you make of what's happening in Kenya? And by the way, 5 of our MPs are actually in Kenya right now, and I just want to list their names for you. So they've been caught up in the whole issues. Let me just read them for you. So 5 of them: Emmanuel Akwesi Jemfi, MP for Odotobri; Nina Tevanapoy, MP for Ododo, Thomas Nyako Ampem, MP for Esujaman; Sylvester Matthew Teta, MP for Botiano, English Yamafro; and then Mohamed Hardy Tufeiru, MP for Nantong. They had been in Kenya for a while on official business, and they were caught in the middle of the chaotic situation. They were members of the local government committee of parliament, visiting the parliament of Kenya when the protests erupted. And so they're still there, but I believe they are safe. And so just a little update there. Eric, what do you make of what's happening in Kenya?
Yes.
Any lessons for us here?
Yes. Thank you very much, Kafiu. And then good morning once again to everybody that is listening to GTV the breakfast show. Yes, Kafiu, the issue of taxes, it has become something that is going on. It has become the order of the day. If you look at somewhere later part of the last year, we all heard the uprising of Italy. In Italy, somewhere November, December, I think I was there for a couple of days, and then in Milan, Rome, saw the people, citizenry, demonstrating about the hardship and then the high cost of living over there. And then UK, in fact, even the Prime Minister was even summoned in the House of Parliament to also come and give out an account the hardship that the people of UK are going through, the taxes that has also been introduced, of which he also made a lot of James on that. And then we also come to Switzerland, where we also know that Switzerland is a place that when you want a very good standard of living, that is where in Europe you normally go there and see how they also go there. But somewhere latter part of last year, they also experiences this demonstrations that was also going on there, all as a result of the taxes and then the high cost of living for the good people who are living out there. So with the lesson, like you said, I think there are so many ways, as my brother rightly said, there are so many ways just to channel out your grievances. Taxes has come, but there are so many ways that you need to sit and then deliberate on it and see how best, the government or the executives will see to it and come out with a consensus editum. But demonstrating and then burning, destroying things, and look at it, the number of people that have died, 13 people. They have family, they have wives, they have children, they have kids, and even some of them, I would not say even some of them, looking at somebody going for demonstration, defending your right on the, and it's a reasonable demonstration that they are going. Well, paying of taxes is very, very high. Standard of living is very, very high. So I'm demonstrating and sharing out my grievances to the government that we can't bear it no more. But look at what has happened. You died, you've gone. Your family have lost you. Your friends. And the influence that you also have in the society. All you know, some are even breadwinners, some might even have their businesses that others are also benefiting from. So to us, I would say is that, yes, of course, globally everybody is crying in terms of hard living, cost of living, and taxes. But then when the situations comes, we need to find a way and deal with it rather than moving out there, distracting, causing people, causing a lot of mission. And this is what has happened. 13 people lost their life. And this is something that we don't wish for anybody. So it's all a lesson to globally, not even in Ghana, everywhere in the world. That is why I cited all these things, phenomenon right from the UK, Italy, Switzerland, and even some part of the world. And now they have come to Africa, Kenya. Yes, Kenya is known to be a civilized country in terms of, education, everything, socially, morally. But when they look at the taxes that are also coming, they couldn't bear it.
16% on bread.
That is outrageous.
And it's a major diet.
That's it. Bread. Bread is one of the most essential commodity that you can just take and eat at any point in time. That you don't even need to.
So on Facebook, MC Dan is saying the lesson he's learned from this is, as a government, don't bombard your citizens with taxes if you're not creating jobs for them.
Oh yes, it's here because if job is not coming, how do you create taxes? Because they are not getting job doing. And how are they going to get income to pay all these taxes? So that is why as a government, they are trying all that they can to make sure that they macroized the economic system to make sure that jobs are being created within the country and people can also pay taxes. I quite remember when I was in Europe and I was working, and this the owner of the company, when we talk of Austria, is one of the richest guys. But when you work overtime, they will call you and then they will give the money onto you on top of the table. Because we were expecting that at least when you do overtime, everything must pass through the system so that our taxes will be more. And when, in case maybe you lose your job or maybe on pension, you'll be paid high. But one thing that he said, no. If I pay you this amount, I'm going to pay more taxes. So I just sat down, reflect my mind, and said, rich people, you have so much money. Why are you running away from taxes? Then what about we, the middle class or the poor people? So tax has become something that is not something so attractive that everybody wished to. But sometimes when you are bailing the people, when you are taxing people, you must also be very sensitive to them and know that, like you rightly said, that there is no job. But why do you tax me? Then why am I going to get money to pay all these taxes? So I think it's a wake-up call to all government across the globe that we should be very, very, very mindful with the kind of taxes that we impose in our people in order not to incur all these difficulties that are also coming.
All right. I was wondering whether the African Union was going to make any comments, because I hear leaders from all around the world talking about this, and I found out that the chairperson of the African Union Commission, Musa Faki Mahamat, has expressed deep concern over the deadly violence in Kenya after a demonstration in Nairobi. This is like protests, anti-riot police shot dead protesters during a protest against a proposed tax hike, and Mahamat has called for calm, urging stakeholders to engage in dialogue to address the issues behind the protests. The protests were against a finance bill to raise taxes, which protesters argue will worsen their economic hardship. Tensions rose when protesters breached police barricades and stormed the parliament building. I saw them making off with the mace. What is the significance of the mace?
That is the whole parliament. That is the whole parliament. That's the power of parliament.
The mace.
Yes. So when you take it away, there's no parliament. Very significant, and that is why they took it away. How is parliament going to operate with his power? It's just like the journalist. Yeah. Your mic is your power. Your pen is your sword.
So they take it away. You can
like a soldier without a weapon.
Without a weapon. You see, like I agree with my brother about the issues of taxation that has become burdensome for people across the globe. You see, but a major issue in this part of the world has been the lack of investment using the taxes that you've collected for the people. When the electorate and the people see that they are going through an austerity and your lifestyle as a leader hasn't changed, you keep living like an Arabian king in the face of debilitating poverty, diseases, and institutions are collapsing, then the people have no any other means than to go this way. We are all condemning the violent and so on. Look, what lessons do we learn? And I think that when the MPP was coming together, they talked about moving from taxation to production. In fact, when you engage in production, you reduce the tax burden. And I'll keep citing an example. For instance, non-traditional export alone gave this government $4 billion last year. Yeah. In fact, Ghana Export Promotion Authority is projecting that in the next 5 years, they are going to be able to mobilize $25 billion. Now, if this money comes and is not invested for employment to be generated, or you borrow, and that you borrowed for capital investment, and the money goes with, obviously the issue of unemployment would be so dire that people would want to fight government over taxation again. Look, the Statistical Service of Ghana tells us that over 7.3 or 4 million people from our population have slided into abject poverty. Not just poverty, but abject poverty. This is serious. It's serious. And you know, the same Statistical Service told us some time ago that 8.4 million people couldn't get a meal a day to eat. The World Bank told us that almost a million Ghanaians have completely fallen into poverty. What it means is that before the World Bank brought the some time ago, the 850,000 people were not poor, but they fall into due to our policies that we are not able to implement properly. As we sit, this country's economy has gone junk. We are doing everything to bring it back. And sometimes you ask yourself, can we slide back into what we did? We went to HIPIC. We were in power. We went to the IMF for policy credibility. They gave us over $900 million. So that should have served as a benchmark that we are not going to move back. Here we are. We even went to the IMF in a junk status. We went to the IMF on a stretcher. When you do that and then the people continue to pay the tax. I remember, you know, people were asking for the reduction of taxes on fuel. The finance minister did not buy to that. The president said that we're not going to reduce that because it was yielding over $4 billion. What we expect is that when the issues becomes dire, government should come in and then look at ways by which the taxes can be reduced to give some respite to the people. In the Western world, where taxes are imposed, people enjoy the fruition of the taxes. And again, there are other social nets in all the countries that my brother mentioned that are able to cushion the very poor in society. We have a LEAP program here, but the LEAP program for a long time it has not been paid, and the value of the money that the LEAP beneficiaries take has been eroded away by inflation and by by the value of the city. Look at NAPCO people yesterday were talking about unpayment. The youth in forestry for 14 months have not been paid. Nurses and teachers' allowances are on hold because there's basically no money to do that. Now, when you do that, what the people expect from you as a leader is humility, is sincerity, is honesty. You must show that to the people and move the people along your policy line. But when the policies come and they are implemented and the policies stand alone, and then the political elite are living like Arabian kings, the people will fight you. The people are not ready to continue to pay for the sins of their leadership, for the sins of politicians and so on. So for me, that is why when President John Dramani Mahama keeps saying that he was going to reduce, he was completely going to erase things that go with political appointment, like the bills, your utility bills, your DSTV bills, your fuel, and because we are in a very difficult period. We're in a period that needs that the political elites should not keep making new appointments, like we've seen yesterday, where the secretary of president has been made plenipotentiary, ambassador at large, and some ambassadors have been employed. It is into the little income that you have. You understand? So for me, it's a wake-up call for Ghana, and I think that we can do a lot of investment for this part of the world. Cocoa used to give us a lot of money. As we talk today, we've lost over $500 million from cocoa. They are attributing the smuggle of cocoa to elsewhere. Agribusiness, we can do a lot. It's a non-traditional airport. Remittances, we are told this morning, just even yesterday, that $12 billion have been withheld by fintech and other organizations that's supposed to release this amount to government. And what is government doing? $12 billion. $12 billion. And they are not pursuing them to release the money to us. And I feel that our road sector, education, and other areas, and the mineral sector, is an area that we can't exploit to reduce the burden on our people, than to continue to pile taxes. And you know the interesting thing, those who are paying taxes are those who are continuing to pay taxes. The taxation is suffocating businesses. It's putting overburden on individual citizens and so on. Businesses are not expanding; they are rather shrinking.
All right.
Capital of businesses are reducing, and so on. So the issue is murky, and the future looks bleak. We need to have a transformational leader, just like we are advocating for an experienced and innovative leader like John Dramani Mahama. We hope the electorate will look at the various political programs and see who best can lead us into the land of destiny.
Eric, where's the hope?
Yes, Kafi, I think with taking from where my colleague just said, I think he said a transformational leader. You see, over the years that when the first industrial revolution came, that Africa, we were nowhere to be found. The second, we were nowhere to be found. The third, we were nowhere to be found. That is where the STEM innovation. Yes, that is the STEM innovations of which now we have delved into. Now that has brought a lot of, unemployment in the systems. Because if you go to Europe, when you look at the administrative sides of education, like those who are doing management, HRs and political science and them things, but they know that once I finish school, I'll just write a CV application, go and look for a job. But 75% of their education basically is on STEM innovations. That is the TVET. That once they are in school, they also try to create a platform that they be self-sufficient or self-employed. That once they come out, then they will also be employing people. That is the third industrial revolution. Now, when we talk of a transformational leadership, it's a leader who adjusts himself to the current phenomenon that is going on. And that is Dr. Alhaji Mahmoud Bawumia. We are now in the fourth industrial revolution. And he has vouched, promised, and he's doing it, and he's delivering, that for the fourth industrial revolution, Ghana would never be an exemption. Like he rightly said, the fintech company, in fact, the amount of money that they have held is even more than the money that the sovereign banks is also holding. So once you have these fintech digitalizations in the system that is also going on, there's going to be a huge competition between this fintech company and that of what? The digitalization. And now, because of the digitalization, you can be in Ghana and then be working outside the world. Now, I didn't know that when you call a bank, that the front desk, that if you need any information about this, that I want to know about the services that they do render, those people that do receive the calls, some are even from Malaysia, others from India. And this is how digitalization has brought. They are in Ghana, they are in Africa, the banks are in Ghana or Africa operating. But those, the correspondent front desks, who gives the customer care, who gives you out information to buyers who wants to patronize the bank services, they are from foreign countries. And this is what the government is saying. Dr. Alhaji Mahmoud Bawumia is saying that when I come, I will make sure that 1 million Ghanaian youth will be trained in a digitalized way. And this is what...
You heard the Kenyan man saying that there were a lot of failed promises and the youth were tired.
Oh, yeah, that is...
How do we prevent a Kenyan from occurring in Ghana?
Yes, that is a fantastic question that he did ask. And because before I began my speech, I cited some of the developed countries that they even started this demonstration way back last year. And these external shocks that came, it affected everybody. It came unplanned, unaware, unprepared.
How do we prevent Kenya from happening?
Yeah, that is it. Because they didn't know. Because they were affected. They were hit by the global external shock. That is the COVID.
Did you hear what he said about the young people? He said the politicians wanted to take advantage of the situation, and the young people said, "Step aside, Odinga. Allow us to do our own thing. You've done your own." And that is how you see people in their 20s are thinking.
Exactly.
They are making both of you irrelevant.
Exactly.
If he says, "Step aside, let's do our thing."
Exactly.
Then
yes, Kafi, I do agree with
this. This has gone beyond fix the country.
That's it. Because now,
how do you prevent that from happening?
Globally, is right at the doorsteps of every people. Now, globally has become a decentralized. When you pick up your phone, any information that you need across the globe, you will have it here.
The Kenyans knew that also, but they went on the streets.
Oh yes, because that is it.
And they took
that's it. That is why I cited that nobody. That is why nobody wants to. Even the rich, even the rich don't want to pay the tax. That is why I cited Europe, where the company owner that I was working with, he's a filthy billionaire, but instead of him to pay us the number of hours that we've worked for and pay taxes on, he said, "No, I'm going to pay you the required minimum hours that you worked, but for the overtime, I'm going to pay you black." Why? Because I don't want to pay tax. So that is it. It has become a global phenomenon. And looking at the digitalizations that you are here, everywhere you are, you can just get any information across the globe. They are there, they see how other youths are going on, the developed world. Why? We go into the same university. I have my master's, I have my degree. My colleague who is out there is, even though things are really high, but they are able to put food on the table. Why my country? And other additional taxes that I need to. But not knowing that we need to make sure or know that African countries, we are emerging economy or frontier economy.
We've been emerging since I was a primary school student. Why haven't we emerged yet?
Yeah, we're
just emerging. Let's emerge.
That is our education that we are for. The kind of curriculum that we are using now.
Why hasn't it changed?
That is it. That is why I said the third industrial revolution, we failed. And this is why now Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo is trying to implement the third industrial revolution just to catch up. That is the STEM innovation. Over the years, our education has been, we train students to go out there to go and look for jobs. But we don't train them to go and be self-dependent.
I think Kenyans started this whole digital revolution thing long before Ghana.
Oh yes.
They are more, but they are on the streets.
Yeah, but the third industrial revolution they were not catch up with that.
Really?
Oh yes. The third industrial revolution, they were not catch up with that. Even we started those who were able to catch up with the third industrial revolutions are the Malaysians, and then some part of the Asia, because we started with them, but they were able to catch up, right? But for Africans, you could see that yes, when it comes to digitalizations, Kenya, you can beat them.
But they're on the street.
Yeah, they're on the street because the third industrial revolution is a very critical, because the third industrial revolution that will pave way for you to use that digitalization.
Why, they haven't reached the third industrial revolution?
Oh, yes.
The Kenyans?
No, they haven't reached.
They haven't?
They haven't.
Really?
They've
Oh,
gone
yes.
past that.
No, you see, Kafi, let me tell you, when you look at this industrial revolution,
And we are there.
No, we just started the STEM, and the NPP government started with the STEM innovation, the TVET, so that we'll be self-employed on our own.
Okay.
Yes, that is it. We are now practicing it. And now we
So
are
what went
using-
wrong in Kenya?
What went wrong in Kenya? One is the high cost of living. Two, the taxes. And three, unemployment. Because youth are not getting
Do we not
jobs.
have all those same ingredients here?
That is it. We have
Cost
it.
of living.
The cost of living, yes, is high.
Unemployment.
Unemployment is
Taxes.
there. The taxes are there. And that is why this government is trying all that it can to make sure that the things that we were supposed to do maybe 10 years back, 15 years back, that we
Bring them
didn't,
down.
the government is bringing it down.
All right.
You see, Kafi,
We are done, though.
We are done. I want to bring one
The
step.
third industrial revolution is over.
No, I just want to bring one life. Kafi, I just want to bring one thing.
30 seconds.
30 seconds.
Yes.
You see,
Then
yesterday,
you also end.
Kafi, yesterday I had a opportunity to meet a professor at the university who teaches the business school.
Okay.
Right. I told them that, you see, I was teaching them about the forex.
Foreign exchange.
Yeah, no, forex trading. Forex trading and
Yes,
commodity.
foreign exchange training.
Yes, and the
Trading.
commodity trading.
Yeah.
Yes, but I just put a chart on there just for him to maybe the students to do an analysis on it. I mean, even the first class student was not. And this is where businesses are. That is the second industrial revolution. And nobody knows about it.
So they are not even at the third, they are in the second.
Yeah, the second.
We should be.
You see, so Kafi, there's a lot
There's a
that
lot
we
to
need
be
to
learned.
do.
All right.
To be learned.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, for member of the National Communications Team, NPP. Your final word.
Yes, he's talking about a fourth industrial revolution, but there's no any fourth industrial revolution in the world that is not dependent on resilient infrastructure. Look, India, as we talk now, he knows that they are more advanced in technology, and for that matter, the fourth industrial revolution. But India is going to be the world's best infrastructure hub of the world because of the job that it comes with. Revolutions and digital does not stand alone. Yeah. They need infrastructure to pass through. There's a link between the infrastructure
it goes together.
And that. It doesn't stand alone.
Yeah.
So if our brother Bomi is coming as a fourth industrial revolutionary transformation, he should also acknowledge that the backbone, the fiber optic backbone and infrastructure for the development or the spread of the digital revolution was put up by a more and a very important transformational leader who is John Dramani.
All righty.
Senior
That's the man. Former MP for Busa North Timothy Awotri Achabuade. I'm leaving, but before we know, just quick headlines for you. Labadi beachfront was lawfully leased to my son, says Freddie Blay. We must boldly end monetization of elections, says Mr. McMenu, former national chairman of the NPP. Election 2024, Ghanaians have resolved to make Bawumia president, says the director of his communications team, Dennis Miracles Abuaji. Minority denies opposition to free SHS bill, calls for educational reforms. Supreme Court set 3 July as a date to hear Richard Sky's anti-gay bill application, and we don't need legislative instruments to regulate prices. Resolve depreciation, say the cement factors to the Trade Minister, Katie Hammond. There's a conversation on SOS, there's how to spend your salary wisely, and there's a launch of a new book, Journalism Manual for the Digital Age, and Breakfast with Kofi Kakari. We have a lot. It's a packed buffet for you. Watch GTV Breakfast. Keep it right here, and there's more. Thank you.